All right. Boom. Start sending this out. All right. I'm early today. Duke. All right. I see people starting to come in. Hola. I'll be right with you. Just giving people time to come true. I'm a little early today. Mm, mm, mm. Hey, BBL Dash in the building. I see a couple of y'all in here. Don't be shy now. Say what's up. Say what's up. You know what I mean? Just doing the usual. Spreading the word before we get into the diddler. Whew. It's gonna be wild tonight. The diddler. All right, all right. I know how it goes. We're gonna give them a couple minutes, and then we're gonna start unpacking. We're gonna get right to it. Let me just make sure my volume is up. Yeah, it's looking good. Okay. Yeah. Yes, yes, y'all. Yo, Dave in the building. You know it. Dave in the building. Oh, I'm leaning too forward, probably. Let me chill. Let me sit back. I don't want to be the headless horseman out here. You know what I'm saying? What's on the t-shirt today? Nothing. Zero. Just black. You know what I'm saying? Nothing fly today. Just, just black today. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a dark topic. So nothing fly today. We just black. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's it, Dave. Nothing fly going on today, baby. It's dark and hell is hot, as DMX once said. All right. Almost time to get it started. People gonna have to trickle in when they trickle in. We got a lot to talk about today. 2 weeks into this Diddy trial. 2 weeks in. Lot to discuss. Lot to discuss today. So we ain't gonna wait too long. Give people a little quick minute, and then we're gonna get this one started. Because too much to talk about. Way too much. Way too much. All right. So give them a couple more minutes, maybe like 2-3 minutes, and then that's it. We getting into it. How y'all feeling today? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Talk to me. Dave, how's it going? You know what I mean? Everybody else in the chat, y'all ready for the weekend? You know what I mean? Like my boy Days likes to say, Friday. It's Friday, you know what I mean? Oh, y'all scared tonight? Nobody want to talk in the chat? Don't be scared. Tonight's not a good night to be scared. Today's going to be a barn burner. Dave says, I'm all right. Just here doing life. I feel you, player. I feel you. All right. All right. Let's get it popping. I don't want to waste too much time. I came in a few minutes early so we could start close to on time. Let me just pull some stuff up. Got my documentization. You know what I mean? Where's the screen recording at? Got it. Oh, let me pull up my. Oh, Dash says week 1 post op. I'm still down, but I'm here. Dash is a trooper. Post op at the recovery house. Still potting. I hope to be as strong as Dash in my next life. You know what I'm saying? So let me just pull up my documentation here. I took a lot of notes for this pod, probably too many notes. We're gonna see how all of this flows. But there's a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. Prayer hands, no doubt. All right, let's get it started. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights Live. I am JD, aka He Who Pods. Glasses on the day, ring light in full effect, so also rear view mirror. Dave says, hopefully you have a speedy recovery. That's right. We are wishing Dash a speedy recovery. Tez, what's going on, player? I see you. Here, right back at you. Welcome to the Diddy trial episode. Now, we say all the time we're not going to cover a lot of this stuff. And so this is a bit of hypocrisy, I know. But there's a reason that I wanted to do this episode. There seems to be a lot of confusion. There seems to be a lot of confusion in the court of public opinion. There seems to be a lot of things circulating about this trial, and people seem confused. Some people think it's only a DV case. Some people seem to think like Cassie's on trial or something. They're just like, yeah, but I don't know. Cassie. There's a lot more going on than Cassie. And so, we're going to break it down, and we'll see how this conversation flows. Of course, please ask whatever questions you have in the chat, and feel free to correct me in the chat. I'm trying my best to be fact-based. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff. I want to talk about what's fact and what's fiction, like I put in the title. And I'm also going to give some thoughts. And hopefully y'all could give me some of your thoughts too. So this ain't just me, reading off a paper for y'all. But let's start with a couple of things. The first thing is, what is Diddy charged with? It's a good question. Let's start there.
8 predicate indicted for a total of 8 predicate I can tell you for certain that they're going to have him on narcotics.
Wait, Abba, chill out, player. All right, sorry, y'all. Technical difficulty. Hey, Dave. Oh, Ted says, what up, Dave? And D, he says, hey, oh. So, sorry about that. Here are the charges.
Diddy is indicted for a total of 8 predicate RICO charges, those being acts of kidnapping, acts of arson, bribery, obstruction of justice via evidence tempering, forced labor, sex trafficking, transportation for purposes of prostitution, and possession with intent to distribute cocaine, oxy, MDMA, or ecstasy, among others.
All right. Those are the charges. Okay? Those are the charges. So let's start there. Those are the charges that Diddy is facing. And so we'll get back to that, but let's break a couple of things down. First, what is a RICO? By the way, these definitions are from the government code, aka the law itself. All right. So, what is the RICO? First, a RICO is, quote, pattern of racketeering activity, requires at least 2 acts of racketeering activity committed within 10 years of each other. The government must show that racketeering predicates are related and that they amount to or pose a threat of continued criminal activity. All right, everybody's saying hi to each other in the chat. I like it. Okay, so that is what a RICO is. Now let's move on. Okay, disclaimer. Before I continue, let me say a few things. Number one, there are some words I cannot say on YouTube. They are not allowed. So just try to flow with me, as I'm going to be saying some substitute words, but I think y'all will understand what I'm saying. Number two is trigger warning. If you know about this trial, you know that there's a lot of crazy stuff happening that can trigger people. So if that's you, this may not be the place for you. Trigger warning is going to get crazy in here today. All right. So what is X trafficking? You know what I'm saying? Eggplant emojis, peach emojis, X trafficking. X trafficking of children or by force, fraud, one, or coercion is A, whoever knowingly, number one, what up, Shells? Whoever knowingly, one, in or affecting interstate commerce, recruits, entices, harbors, transports, provides, or obtains by any means a person, or two, benefits financially or by receiving anything of value from participation in a venture which is engaged in an act described in violation of paragraph 1. Shelley says, yeah, break it down. Break it down. Yeah, we got to break it down because people don't know what a RICO is. People don't know what his charges are. People are very confused. So that is what is X trafficking. That's how we will say it for the rest of this episode. And so some of this is tied to something called the Mann Act. And people are saying, what the hell is that? I never heard of the Mann Act before this, I'll be honest. And so, what is the Mann Act? Once again, this is from Government Code. It says cases arising under the Mann Act, 18 USC as 2 word 2421 established sequence are investigated by the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the FBI, and are referred directly to the appropriate United States attorneys. The Child and Exploitation and Obscenity section of the Criminal Division is responsible for supervision of the act. Now, that's just nice words to tell you who's responsible. Now, what is it really? It says sections 2421 until 2423 of the act set forth several offenses, including the offense of knowingly transporting an individual, male or female, in interstate or foreign commerce, or in any territory or possession of the United States for the purposes of prostitution or X activity, which is a criminal offense under the federal or state statute or local ordinance. Now, y'all are smart. I don't think y'all need me to break it down. We got a smart audience up here. But it's transporting, trafficking, all of those things as stated in the United States, in a place the United States is in charge of, all of those things. All right. And so what are Diddy's charges? We said it already in the video, but just to restate: racketeering, X trafficking, and transporting to engage in prostitution. Along with everything else y'all heard, he could be sentenced to life if he is convicted. Okay, those are the charges and what the stuff means that y'all are hearing a lot. There's a lot of talking and reading right there. So those are the things that they are investigating. Those are the things the prosecution has the job of proving. They have to prove these things, as y'all know, beyond the shadow of a doubt. If the prosecution can prove these things, then Diddy will be locked away, possibly for life. Shell says, yup, but he won't get sentenced for life. Right. Well, that is possible. It's just letting you know, that's just letting you know the possibility. He has the possibility of getting life. It's like if you commit murder, you're not guaranteed to get life, but you're going to get 25 to life in most cases. So it's a similar thing where they're just explaining what could happen in this case. Dash says, so this is not a lawsuit between him and Cassie Ventura. Right. It is not between him and Cassie Ventura. It is the federal government versus P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Papa Diddy Pop, Love, Sean Combs, Diddler, all of the above. Shell says, I give him 10 years too. Oh, tops. I give him 10 years tops, but it looks like Trump is going to step in. It's funny you say that because I was just watching the video where they asked Trump, would he pardon him? And he did not give a real answer. He danced around a lot. He said, we used to be friends, then we weren't friends, and then I started being political. And, you know, when you run for office, a lot of things change. But you know, that shouldn't matter because, and he started saying all this stuff. He didn't give a clear answer. Kim says, you know that someone has approached DJ TV about a pardon already. Oh, yeah, well, there you go. I guess you were writing that as I was saying it. But yeah, I watched the video. He was asked. He didn't give a straight up answer. And so who knows what will happen. But first, the case has to go through in order for a pardon to happen. Excuse me while I just take a sip of the good stuff. Got to stay caffeinated for this episode. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff going on. So, what are the facts? Well, before we even get to the facts, what questions do y'all have so far about either what I said or what the public is saying, or all of those things. Because I don't want to just read off to y'all. I would like this to be an open discussion if possible. And I see we got a supportive, chatty bunch here. So what questions do y'all have based on either what I read or what the public is saying so far? The Fed's cases, 98% of the time, they normally don't take a loss. Yes, Shells, that's true. They have a really high conviction rate. However, it is a little bit misleading because I can't remember the number. I didn't write it down, but most Fed cases do not go to trial. People plead out and things of that nature. So their conviction rate is high, so high because they don't go to trial as often as, let's say, the state, right? Like if it's the state of New York versus JD Nero, that is going to be something that happens more often. State goes to court way more than federal because normally when federal is after someone, they have built such a crazy case that people just plead out. They don't even usually go to trial. It's like in your best interest to just say, you know what, I'm gonna take these 5 years and just shut up. Shell says, yes, correct. Like how they grabbed Casanova, no trial. Yeah, this is what happens. Usually by the time the feds grab you, they have quietly been building such a case that it's like an open and shut case. So to go to trial, you'll be wasting time and possibly getting way more time during sentencing than you could get from a plea deal. Um, Dave says, why is he the only one? Based off what I heard, he's not the only one involved. I think that's wrong. Um, so I'm not. Can you be a little more specific? Because the only one, what? Because do you mean the only one like celebrity nasty person Harvey Weinstein type stuff, or you mean like the people involved in the case who are speaking against him? Which one do you mean, Dave? Shell says he's the top dog, right? Well, that's why I'm asking what. That's why I'm asking for specificity because in what way are we saying he's the top dog? Do we mean in this instance because he is the head of several companies and a lot of the people we're going to talk about who were testifying and stuff, they were his employees. So in that instance, yeah, he was the top dog. Kim says Suge Knight said on TMZ this week, if Puff caught me at Mel's Diners, it would have been a problem. Oh, please, Suge Knight. I thought Suge Knight couldn't walk last time we saw him. I'm confused. Shell says he was running the entire operation. Dave says, meaning if it's trafficking, then we know Diddy was not doing the moving, but they only going for him. Shell says, LOL, Suge is all talk. Okay, so Dave, um, there's a few things happening. And so that's a good question. Um, there are people who have immunity. I double checked it because I was a little confused who did and who did not have immunity. Immunity was given to 3 people that I could find. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's more coming. Everyone has not. The trial's not over. This is the end of the second full week of trial. So far, I was able to find 3 people who have immunity. Cassie, a man named George who was an assistant, and a gentleman from the Intercontinental Hotel. I think I still have the article open here. Yeah. George Kaplan and Eddie Garcia have been granted immunity for their testimony. George Kaplan is a former assistant to Sean Combs who quit after witnessing Combs' alleged stuff to Cassie Ventura. Eddie Garcia, who worked in security at the Intercontinental Hotel, is also expected to testify under immunity. Okay, I see everyone who's texting me. Gotcha. Oh, lots of stuff in the chat. Let's come back over here for a second. Um, Shell says true, but their main focus is on Diddy. Kim says Combs was smart by having Cassie procure and pay the pros. Yes, but that's not good enough in this instance, and we'll get to that in a few minutes, Kim. Shell says main objective to tarnish his reputation. They did that already, so it doesn't matter if he walks, his life will never be the same. I agree. His life will not be the same, but he's not going to be a Joe Schmo either for various reasons. If he gets out or if he gets a short amount of time, we could circle back to that in a little while. Dave says, I think the fact that Cassie has immunity is trash. She should be right next to him. No, I disagree. And we'll get to that in a minute. Um, First of all, let me respond to that. Cassie has immunity because um, I see y'all still writing. So, all right. You're going wild. Let me respond to Dave first. Cassie has immunity because she committed crimes. Yes. However, two things. Number one, in a RICO act, most I'm not going to say most because I don't like when podcasters do it, but in RICO acts there are times, plenty of times, when the idea is to get the small fish to turn on the big fish. Example, in a mob trial, you want the low level people to snitch on the higher ups. A big example of that was shown in the movie a lot of us love, The Dark Knight. In The Dark Knight, they use a RICO charge to put like 113 criminals away, and they even say in there what a RICO Act is, which I was going to play it, but I didn't want to OD. But they say, the mid-level guys and the high-level guys, they might be able to bail out. They might be able to even avoid some charges. But those low-level guys, they're going to snitch because they don't have money and because they fear for their lives. And we'll be able to use them to go and give us information on those top dogs. So that is what happens in RICO acts. That's part of the strategy, is to have small fish help you catch big fish. So was Cassie committing crimes? Absolutely. That's not any, there's nothing to debate about there. She paid escorts, she did multiple things that are criminal acts. That is a fact. Cassie did commit crimes. However, she was doing it on behalf of someone else. And then we'll get into coercion, fear, all of that plays a part of why she has immunity, part of the picture they're painting in the broad strokes for um, Diddy's case. Let me jump back to the chat here. Kim says, and his kids now know dad is a freak. Uh, I think the word freak and nasty are being misused a lot right now in the public. Um, and I just want to talk about that for a second, being that, I do have this platform, this other platform. This is weeknights, but I do have another platform that's all about sexual and intellectual topics. Um, Being a freak, being quote unquote nasty, yeah, being in love with lubricants and baby oil, it's abnormal. Sure, it's not the norm. Wanting to watch men sleep with your significant other, not normal. Wanting your lady to rub the ejaculant of another man on your nipples, also not the norm. But those things do not make him a criminal. There are plenty of other things that make him a criminal. Being freaky, being having kinks, those things are not illegal. I mean, there's some that are, but the ones I'm mentioning, some of them are not illegal. The escorts clearly are. But wanting to do quote unquote freaky stuff, quote unquote nasty stuff, is not illegal. Most of the things that were happening. So being a freak, being nasty, people could say that if they want. That's fine. There are plenty of people who do these things on a regular basis. Plenty of people are into weird kinks and weird things. I don't think that's the problem here. I think the problem is that Diddy had a history of abuse and doing other things, which is kind of where we are going to get into the weeds of it. So being a freak, yeah, whatever. If your kid knows you're a very sexual person, a kink friendly person, so what? I don't think that's the problem here. I think them knowing that dad is a really shitty person is far more damaging. Let's head back to the chat here. Kim says Cassie was played. Oh, I see that. Shell says play the Dark Knight thing. Maybe we'll see if we have time. Uh, Kim says Cassie was played. Diddy distributed some of the songs for free. Um, the stylist Deontay testified in court that Cassie recorded over 9 albums of music, and that um, less than 10% was put out. Um, Dash says I'm missing all her comments. I'm not seeing comments from you. Only one that's all the way in the bottom here, Dash. Uh, you might need to jump out and reconnect. I do have from Dash. Yeah, that's not why this is wrong, but that's all the way at the bottom. I was on my way there. Uh, Shells is laughing. Shell says it sure isn't normal. Yeah, it's not. Okay, Dash says everyone is likely cooperating with the feds and they're going to go for the big fish. Yep. Yes, that is true. Dave says, from what I have heard about it, it seems like the Cassie video was used to publicly bring Diddy down so that he can't get a fair trial. As far as I know, he was not trafficking, but they're using that to get him. Okay, and so that's why I read definitions. And we're going to get to the facts of all of this in just a second. Dash, try to leave and come back and do a test comment because, yeah, I only saw the one comment there. If not, feel free to just text me and I'll read your comment because I only saw the one comment that said, yeah, that's not why it's wrong. Uh, Let me see, is there anything else here from Dash? Sorry, y'all. Just want to make sure everyone's getting a fair chance to get their comments in. Uh, yeah, Dash. The last comment I see here says, before that says, so this is not a suit between him and Diddy, him and Cassie. Then it says, feels like that needs to be said. Um, uh-oh. I don't know how to scroll back down. Whoops. Okay, got it. Shell says, well, let's do the math. Quincy Brown is 33 years old. I know that that's his stepson, but he definitely seen some things that happened. Okay. I don't think Quincy's actually okay, Dash, I got you. I don't think Quincy's involved in this yet. But we'll get to that. So the trafficking is a few things. Number one, trafficking is when you move someone, like we said there in the description, when you're moving someone across state, city, or even country lines, right? When you're moving a person from territory to territory against their will, or for the purpose of an illegal act or something of that nature. And Diddy, based on testimonies from multiple people, did do that. Y'all can go and look. I will not sit here and read everyone's testimony. Tons of people have testified. Lots of stuff was the same story from different people. Example, Dash says JD had on a black shirt and kept touching his glasses. And then Shell says, yeah, JD had on, I don't know what was going on. He kept touching his glasses and he did have an all black shirt on. And there are stories where 3 and 4 people are saying the same exact thing under oath on their testimony, even people who don't have immunity. Because remember, so far, only 3 people have immunity. A bunch of people have testified. And so this is corroborating the stories. So when you're moving someone from line to line, even somewhere close, right? From New Jersey to New York, from New York to PA, if that person doesn't want to go and you're making them go, or they fear for their life, or they're intoxicated, or you're taking them there for a commercial X act, those things are all trafficking. Dash, I see a comment from you. I'll be right with you. So, Dave, those things are all falling under trafficking. It's not just the video of the DV, which we all saw via CNN. Let's go back to the comments. Okay, Shell says, man, I wish Kim Porter was alive. Whoo! That would be crazy, yes. Kim asks, is Quincy on the witness list? I don't know that answer. Shell says, that's what I've been trying to find out. Yeah, I don't know that answer yet. Um, I have not looked at the full list of the people that will testify. I've just been trying to keep up day to day from various sources on what is going on day to day, which shout out to Dash. Dash has done a great job of linking me to sources, podcasts, links, all of those things behind the scenes, um, to make sure I had the information to do this properly. So just want to shout out to Dash for that. Dash says, I hear you, Dave, but multiple things can be true. Even though the video was used to bring him down, if he did that shit, he still did it. Bring him down. Um, yeah, multiple things can be true, and the video was actually not trafficking. It it paints a clear picture of what was going on a regular basis, because we spoke about this before on weeknights, but since we're here, just real quick, you could see by Diddy's lack of hesitation in that CNN video, that hotel lobby video, that this is not the first time he did that. You don't just kick and do those things to someone for the first time ever. I mean, and even afterwards, he was in the towel sitting down throwing stuff at her from across the lobby. This is clearly not the first time he did that to Cassie. So no, it's not being used for trafficking. It's being used to speak about the monster that he is and show us that this is something he was doing on a regular basis, which leads to other things, because there are byproducts of DV and other types of abuse. Shell says Quincy definitely seen some DV, whether it was with Kim or with Cassie. I have no information on that, and I'm trying to be information based. If Quincy testifies, we'll take it. We'll take it from there. Um, Kim says the witness list is a matter of public record. Yeah, that's cool. I haven't really looked into the witness list. I've kind of been going day by day and trying to keep up with what's going on so I could be thorough when it is time to talk about it today. So let's talk a little bit about facts, and then we'll do some more chatting. What are the facts? What are the things we definitely know at this point? All right. Number one, and by the way, this is not chronological order. I'm jumping around. But number one, we know Diddy extorting Cassie's mom is a crime. Diddy sent an email from a bad boy, Diddy had a bad boy employee email Cassie's mom wire transfer information. And Diddy said, I believe in a text, I could be wrong about this part, but I believe it was in a text message that if he did not send 20,000, if Cassie's mom did not send $20,000 to Diddy, he would extort her by publishing sex tapes that he had of Cassie. Diddy extorted her mom. That is a crime. That is a fact. This is not an opinion. Sending an email from a bad boy employee to Cassie's mom with the wire transfer information is also a crime. In fact, that is part of a RICO crime, because now you have had your business do something illegal, and you've done it via your business, which is part of what they're trying to paint. Part of what they're trying to say with this RICO, big fish, right, is that Diddy was running a criminal organization through his various companies and using money, power, respect, pun intended, to do foul shit to various people. And so it is a fact that Diddy extorted Cassie's mom. It is a fact that this was done via a bad boy email. It was a fact that Diddy a few days later had bad boy send the money back to Cassie's mom. These are facts. And by the way, you don't have to believe me, because Cassie's mom provided text messages, emails, the wire transfer, the bank account, all of that. It's also a fact that the defense did not cross-examine Cassie's mom. Okay? Those things were not those things were not opinion. Those were facts. After her testimony, the defense declined. They said, we will not cross-examine Miss Ventura. Okay? So those are facts real quick. Kim says facts versus alternative facts. And send those tapes to Cassie's parents' bosses. Oh, right, right. Yes, thank you, Kim. Yes, he said he would send it to Cassie's parents' bosses at work as well. Thank you, Kim. Very good. Shells, what's the eyes? What's up? What's going on? Is that shock? Or did I miss something? Talk to me. Talk to me. Dave says, by no means am I saying that Diddy don't deserve to go to jail because of his BS. I'm just not a fan of using certain tactics because if they get away with doing some BS, they will do the ish again. But I don't know what tactics you mean, Dave. You got to be more specific, player, because they're using the RICO, and so far, what you'll see as I lay out the facts, using the RICO, they are painting a very clear picture of all the things Diddy has done. And so I don't know what you mean by certain tactics. If you're more specific, I'll gladly respond. But these are the facts. Uh Shell says, I'm here like, interesting. Yes, it is very interesting stuff. We are at the facts portion here. Dave says, when trying to get a good person, Diddy's not a good person. I'm sorry. We know that now for certain. And we can go back to the facts. Um, okay, another fact that we know. Diddy likes pulling women's hair. Multiple people have spoken up about during acts of violence, Diddy grabs women by the hair. I don't know why, but Diddy likes grabbing women by their hair. Even Deontay, the stylist, said he didn't have no hair, so Diddy couldn't pull it. But he tried, and then he grabbed him by the back of the neck. Diddy's go-to move is grabbing women by the hair. This is a fact. Like 7 or 8 people have testified he pulled someone by the hair. Cassie and other people, other women, he pulled them by the hair. Not just grabbed, pulled, like grab you and drag you across the lobby. Grab it and pull you to the next room. This is Diddy's go-to move. Diddy likes to pull women by the hair. Let me be clear, not pull their hair, pull women by the hair. Drag. Okay. Shell says innocent until proven guilty, yes, but he's far from innocent. Well, I'm not even saying he's guilty yet. I was just responding to what David said about good person. It's clear by what's going on in this trial, things that have been corroborated, things that have been confirmed by multiple sources. Diddy's a shitty person. Um, we'll get to guilty or not guilty in a little while. Shells is here, and Shells got the melting, melting emoji. Uh Shell says, mind you, he has 4 daughters. He does have 4 daughters. Oh, I'm not reading that out loud, Kim. Y'all are in the chat. Y'all can see what she wrote. I'm not putting that. I'm not gonna read that one out loud. Let me see. What else is facts? Um, okay. Another fact is Diddy hired multiple escorts. If I'm correct, 3 have testified and 3 more are coming. 6 escorts will be testifying that they were hired, male escorts were hired by Diddy via Craigslist, via back pages, and I can't remember the third part, the third place. These are facts. And let me just tell y'all, in case you didn't know, hiring escorts, hiring ex workers is illegal. And those ex workers were in multiple cities with Diddy and Cassie. Let me say it again. Those ex workers were in multiple cities with Diddy and Cassie. And that, my friend, is a RICO charge. Said, tisk, tisk, tisk. That is a RICO charge. Okay. So I just want to talk about the facts right now. We're going to get to it in a minute. I know y'all got questions and stuff, but I just want to go through some of the facts. I got a lot of facts. I'm going to pause in a minute, but just want to go through some of the facts. Diddy has hired male escorts. And even if you want to say Cassie hired male escorts, he participated in those events. It's illegal, It happened in multiple cities. That is a RICO charge. Okay. Let me see what else I got for y'all real quick. Uh Diddy's lawyers want Kid Cudi's testimony removed. They say that Kid Cudi's testimony is all hearsay, and also the DNA evidence, the prosecutors, and there is DNA evidence that the prosecution either messed up or lost. The judge denied that motion. And I got to be honest, just pause right here. Let me have a little chat time. I was a little perturbed by this because I was like, hey, they got a good point. A lot of stuff that Kid Cudi said at the time he said it is kind of like, this is what I heard, this is what I was told, but he didn't physically see a lot of the stuff that happened, right? He didn't see Diddy go in his crib, rip open the Christmas presents, and lock his dog in the bathroom. He didn't see that. He didn't see someone throw the Molotov cocktail in his Porsche or cut open the roof. He just got there and the Porsche was on fire. So at first, I was like, okay, they might have something here, but then other people corroborated the story. One of the assistants was at the house with Diddy. She was outside in the SUV. They drove to Diddy's house. She testified a bunch of the same stuff that Kid Cudi said. The LAPD investigated the fire. They investigated the break-in in Kid Cudi's house. A lot of the things that were there were the same. These things are actually, we can't throw them out because even though Kid Cudi didn't physically see them with his own eyes, we know that they happened, and we have various parts of the story. Okay. Also, this was for my facts for later, but since it ties into it, the LAPD, when they arrived to investigate the car, I believe it was, or the break-in, whatever, one of them, because they got calls for both. When the LAPD arrived, yeah, Shells, you know what I'm saying? That when the LAPD arrived, um, there was a SUV there that as they were arriving, the SUV sped off. LAPD ran the plates. The car belonged to Bad Boy Entertainment Inc. Once again, my friends, RICO, RICO. That is a RICO that is using your business to do illegal things, personal things, both illegal. That's part of the RICO. So we could chat. I don't know what DNA evidence was allegedly tampered with or missing. I wasn't able to find that answer. There's a lot of stuff I tried to look into and verify to do this because I'm trying to be more fact based, but I don't know about that. But the judge basically laughed and was like, "They're all Kids Cudi's testimony." No, come on, y'all are bugging. So then, and then we'll get to the chat. Then they tried to file for a mistrial because they wouldn't throw out Cudi's stuff, and because of the DNA thing. And the judge was like, "Come on, man, stop it. Reaching is a foul. You feel what I'm saying? You reaching it. Stop it. That's a fact. Stop it. Stop it." All right, let's hit the chat. Uh, Shell says this is known in Hollywood. What's known in Hollywood? Talk to me, Shells. What's known in Hollywood? Um, Kim says the hair pulling is a Bronx fighting go-to. It's a woman fighting go-to. When women fight each other, they stay grabbing each other by the hair. That's the move. Grab the hair, punch the face. Grab the hair, punch the face. This is come on, this is street 101 type stuff. All right. Um, Shell says no, not the eyeball. Yeah, it had to show you how the eyeball, you know what I'm saying? Kim says that was mucho foul to cut a circular hole in the roof to drop a Molotov cocktail in his car. Yeah. And even that, right? The LAPD reported the Molotov cocktail actually didn't work properly. There was a silky type handkerchief that was put inside, this is kind of funny to me, inside of an old English bottle, 40 ounce. And the silky handkerchief slipped out, so the gas that was lit on the handkerchief, it didn't disperse properly. There wasn't enough of a big boom that it could have been. In fact, the LAPD reported that if the Molotov cocktail was done correctly, because of the proximity to the house, how close the car was to the house, and there was like bushes in the area too, that actually the whole house would have probably went up in flames. It is very likely. Shell says it's sad because after the Diddy trial, it would definitely be another celebrity going through something similar. No one learns. It's like a damn cycle repeating over and over. Yeah, it's a predatory industry, right? The industry is built on being predatory in various ways: film, TV, music, the list goes on. This is the nature. And so Harvey Weinstein may have been caught, excuse me, but he's not the only one. And so there's probably another conversation to have here another time about where these behaviors come from, who learned them from who, and where are they rooted in, etc. But we'll have that conversation another time. Uh, Kim is wild. Uh, Shell says the freak off parties is known. Yeah, yeah. Today the understanding is kind of that there are levels to the Diddy parties. There's the party, there's the after party, and then there's the after party. That's kind of what's been circulating. Kim says you need a cotton scarf or wig. Kim, you wild. I'm scared of you right now. I'm gonna go back to the facts. Okay. What other facts we got? Because it's almost time to wrap it up. Uh okay, let's talk about Jaguar Wright for just a second. Jaguar Wright, everybody's favorite. Ow, Jaguar Wright. Jaguar Wright said all type of crazy stuff about the freak offs. Y'all remember? Y'all remember? Y'all remember? Y'all remember? Do y'all remember? Because I remember, and so does Torre. Let me pull up what Torre said for y'all. Here's Torre. I'm gonna let y'all hear it from him.
Ahem. Can Jaguar Wright please come to the front of the class, please? Miss Wright, you used to say that you would walk girls out of the freak offs. Is that not true? You said in detail, with great passion, that you were walking them out of the freak offs. As far as we know, freak offs consisted of 3 people: Diddy, Cassie, who was never walked out of shit, and male sex workers. Who did you walk out of the freak offs? Because you said you were saving women. Cassie, as far as we know, was the only woman there, and you didn't save her. So who did you save? I think now that we have a clear vision of what the freak offs were, Cassie, a sex worker, and Diddy masturbating in the corner, we know now Jaguar Wright was not there. She was not saving anyone. She was not walking anyone out of the freak offs. Are you fucking serious? We still have people who are like, well, Jaguar was right about Diddy. She said she was at the freak offs saving people. That is obviously now not true. As far as we know now, the freak-offs were not Hollywood-filled, eyes wide shut parties with tons of people that someone like Jaguar Wright could somehow sneak into and pull people out of. They were tiny things in hotel rooms. Stop telling me, well, Jaguar was right about Puff. She was not.
Yes, yes, yes. Torre smoked her boots. Dash, I see your message and I agree with your message. He smoked her shit. It's over. We smoking on that Jaguar. You know what I'm saying? Smoking on that JW. It's over. Liar, liar, pants on fire. I don't want to hear shit about Jaguar Wright again. It is a fact that Jaguar Wright is a liar. Shelly is crying in the chat. Dave says the best material for Molotov is hilarious. Yes, y'all. Kim is well versed apparently. All right, let's go. That is a fact. A fact is Kim is well versed on Molotov cocktails. When the feds come for Kim, I don't want nothing to do with it. All right, I think we're getting a call in. Yes, sir. Hold on. Hold on. Hello, welcome to Weeknights. Oh, you got to talk way louder than that, Dash.
I can't yell. I can't yell. Oh my gosh.
Can y'all hold on? Can y'all hear Dash in the chat? Can y'all hear Dash? Yeah, Dash, talk to him.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us this week, even though I've been in the comments and have not actually been on the show. But I just wanted to say, I wanted to public and put this on record that I defended that lady. I defended her right here on Weeknights, and now it all makes sense.
Yep.
You know, I try to believe Black women. I do, and I always will. But like, Jaguar, what you doing?
Lying. A lot.
Yeah, I just had to say that because I know we had this conversation months ago about Jaguar, right? And
Yeah.
like, what we should believe and what we should not believe. And I erred on the side of, well, she has something to say, so should we just not listen to her? Like, is everything she said gonna come up later?
Yeah, we definitely argued about Jaguar right on the pod.
And listen, maybe there are some truths to some things that she said. She was around, so maybe it's not all a sham. But yeah, girl.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say. I mean, you've been doing a great job, and thank you. And I'll be back. I'll be back soon.
No problem. And
But
just fighting the good fight.
Oh yes. I listen. This BBL / boob job / eye surgery.
Eye surgery, eye color change, right?
Else, sounds fun. Kicking my ass, but I'm still here. So
But let me ask you something while I got you on the air.
Yeah.
I gotta put you in the hot spot one time for the people.
Do it.
How they treating you in the recovery house?
Well, don't make me laugh. It hurts to laugh.
Nah, because they be fucking people up at the recovery house. Are they treating you like Diddy treated Cassie, or you good? Like,
I'm doing good.
Okay.
I'm doing good. I'm being treated well. My meals are being taken care of.
Okay.
I'm eating well. I'm getting my meds around the clock. So really, it's good. I got this really cool pillow that I just kind of hop inside the pillow, and it's listen. I've been napping at all hours of the day. It's great. It's great, really. I'm doing well. They're treating me well. They're taking care of me. So I am getting better so that I can come back to weeknights.
Yeah. Hurry up and come back from Colombia, okay? I'm tired, okay? I need a vacation too.
People are probably like, what in the hell is going on? But yeah, I'm okay. If anyone cares, I'm fine.
Well, you got some comments. Shell said, "Speedy recovery, hun."
Thank you. Thank you so much.
She said, "Lord, I hope they're not treating you like Cassie." And now Shells is cracking up.
No, not at all. I'm being treated very well.
Good.
Being well taken care of, so not to worry.
Good.
But I'm gonna let you get back to it.
Yeah, I gotta wrap up. I still got some facts. More facts.
That's why I was calling too, because I was doing what I do.
Yep. I was like, telling me to hurry up.
We gotta wrap it.
Up. I got you. Yep.
But do your thing.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right, there you have it, folks. Dash from the recovery house. I don't know if you are back in the video with us, but Shell say you're welcome, Dash. All right, so Jaguar right lied. All right, there's a guy. Let's go to the facts. There's a guy named One Stop that almost everyone has testified about. Anyone from Diddy's life who testified has brought up a guy named One Stop. It sounds exactly like it is. One Stop is the one-stop shop for all things pharmaceutical. You get what I'm saying? Pharmaceutical. A wink. So it is a fact that One Stop was the main distributor / dealer for Diddy. It's also a fact that Diddy traveled with a Louis Vuitton pouch to multiple cities and countries with drugs in that pouch. Multiple assistants, Cassie, anybody who testified from his circle has testified about this Louis Vuitton pouch that was always filled with different types of drugs. Okay, this has gone all over the United States and other countries. This was even in Jamaica. That, my friends, is a RICO charge because you cannot travel drugs across state lines, take them yourselves, and give them to others. Because when you take something across a state line with the intent of sharing it with someone else, that is called distributing. That is against the rules. That's right, Shells. Jamaica. That's where the drugs were, okay? Not only were they all over the U.S., but they went to Jamaica too. That is another RICO charge, okay? All right. Had to put the flags. Kim says that is the Ray Charles method. One stop for teas. Right, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so that's also a fact. One Stop is the main distributor slash dealer for Diddy. Diddy traveled all over. We got that. Okay, another one for the non-believers. Another fact, and this comes from both the two different officers that were involved in the raids. Okay, a fact: Diddy had multiple guns, magazines, gun pieces, AR-15s, AR-15 pieces, with serial numbers scratched off of the guns and the guns pieces. Also illegal. Also illegal. You can't do that. That's against the law. Another one, okay? That's the fact. Now, another fact is multiple people saw Diddy hit other staff members and Cassie. I'll say it again. Multiple people saw Diddy hit Cassie and other staff. Okay? This is a fact. Multiple people have said these things. I'm not making this up. Okay? Another fact, just to be a little silly, Diddy loves baby oil. My God. This nigga needs stock in Johnson and Johnson. That's my watch telling me wrap it up. Diddy loves baby oil. Baby oil is involved in every sexual story that we have heard. Baby oil is everywhere. Baby oil is staining the hotel sheets. Baby oil is on the walls. It's crazy. Okay, another fact. Oh, I said the LAPD plates. Another fact. This got nothing to do with Diddy. Another fact is Cassie is a cheating ass cheater. Cassie cheated on Diddy. Cassie cheated on her husband back when that was her boyfriend. Cassie dated a couple of different dudes during the time she was with or not with Diddy. It's weird, but it's clear Cassie is a cheater. Okay? But it's also a fact that Cassie is not on trial. People are very focused on Cassie, but Cassie's not on trial. Cassie has immunity. Cassie was scared for her life in a lot of these moments, and so were other people. They all testified, I was scared. I was scared. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. Some people even called human resources at Bad Boy. And who the hell knew there was human resources at Bad Boy with all this shit going on? But they called HR and nothing was done. So that also is not good. What else I got? Another fact, Diddy had multiple girlfriends and there was a hierarchy. Kim Porter was numero uno, and then there were others. This is a fact. Multiple people have stated this. Diddy had multiple girlfriends, and there was a hierarchy. Okay? Another fact, we almost done. Diddy's staff was overworked and underpaid. People were working 100 hours a week in some cases and getting paid a salary of like $50,000, $60,000. And yeah, that was years ago, but these people are like executive assistants to the CEO, personal assistants to the CEO. These people are grossly underpaid. Okay. Last one I got, I already told y'all multiple people have immunity, and we spoke about that already. Let's hit the chat and then let's wrap this up. Kim says, I want to know who was Diddy's baby oil connect. That is hilarious. I have no idea because Costco said he never bought it from us. Shell said correct. Kim says Diddy was dumb. He could have made untraceable on a 3D printer. Yo, Kim, you they gonna come lock you up if you don't chill. Kim says Cassie was addicted to Diddy and his power. Well, there's a thing, and I don't know. Y'all can look it up, but there's something called oh man, what's the name of this thing? There's something that happens. Oh man, I know Dash knows it. She said it the other day when we were talking. Stockholm syndrome. That's what it is. There's something called Stockholm syndrome, and one of the people who came to testify, they called an expert in some of these things. I can't even read what she said because it's so graphic. YouTube will take it down. But if you take the time to go read the testimony from the expert who speaks about what happens in DV cases and different cases and how long it takes somebody to leave and how many attempts it takes before you can truly mentally depart from your abuser. She gave great testimony on this. This is an expert. She's not siding with anyone. She's simply talking about what happens with abuse victims, the byproducts, the aftermath, etc. And so Cassie and some other people had clearly had Stockholm syndrome because people kept coming back to Puff even after um, things were over. Some people got fired, they came back. Cassie left the relationship and moved out and came back. There were lots of things that happened, but this is part of Stockholm syndrome, which I don't think people really understand, which is why I'm pointing to that expert testimony. Y'all should go read it. She breaks it down really well. If you look it up, you'll find it. Um, it gives you a clear picture of why people didn't leave, why they felt so attached, how fear plays such a huge role in all of these things. To the point where Cassie is sleeping with people out of fear. One of the escorts even said, like, no, she never said no, but she would constantly like look over her shoulder and make and see what Puff was wanting to have her do and stuff like that. Diddy was looking for pretty girls with low self-esteem. Yeah, and young girls. Because there's another girlfriend named Gina. Gina was pretty young too. We haven't seen testimony from Gina just yet. But yeah, he even said someone testified that Diddy straight up told that person. I can't remember which person it was. They were like, "Yeah, Cassie's young. I can mold her." Um, Dave said if he was smart, he should have had other people do everything. Why handle illegal stuff himself? No, Dave, that is the point here. He did have other people doing stuff. He had Cassie paying, physically giving the money to the escorts. He had assistants going to get um, illegal prescriptions under different names for him. He had all these people doing it, but that's part of a RICO. It's like a mob boss. The mob boss does go to jail if you tell him, "Hey, man, the mob boss told me to keep drinking Dunkin' Donuts until I die." He don't got to be the one to do it. If you say, "Oh yeah, the mob boss said stick this straw up JD's nose until he completely dies," if someone testifies that as part of a RICO, which is what this is, then yeah, it's over. You do get charged. It doesn't matter if you have someone else do it. What's more important is he was doing things with company cards, with, like we said, the emails from Bad Boy Records, the SUV being at Kid Cudi's crib. He was committing crimes either on his own or through his staff with the company. You cannot do that. If you have a company, if JD Incorporated exists, my real name, Jonathan cannot have JD Inc. going to buy kilos of cocaine. It doesn't matter if I have somebody else do it. If I say, "Hey, Dave, you know where to go. Go pick up the stuff." That's illegal. You're doing things under direction. And when you add fear, because every time Dave sees me, I punch him, "Man, go get the fucking drugs. You know what I'm telling you to do." Well, now David is scared and David is going to go do it, even if it's illegal. That all is part of the RICO. That's why I started by breaking down his charges and what is a RICO. So it doesn't matter that Diddy never did it. Even some of the ex-workers testified, Diddy never paid me. It was always Cassie. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because remember, even though it's people that were not Diddy, they're doing it under his instructions. Why? Because they're all his staff, including Cassie, which is the wildest part of all of this that people seem to ignore. Everyone was a staff member that he was doing this stuff to. Okay, maybe not everyone. A large percentage based on the testimonies, because I'm trying to be factual. It was staff members. You can't do that. You can't do that. Where we at with the chat? Shell says Kim is hilarious. Ted says man's got pallets sent to him on the reg. Yes, that's wild. And yes, he just had tons and tons of baby oil. Shell says laughing my ass off. Word up. Kim says they kept sending Diddy Christmas cards to stay cool. Some people did stay in touch with Diddy. invited him to weddings, all type of stuff. But this is still part of Stockholm syndrome, and that's what I'm trying to explain to y'all. If you look up go look up the expert's testimony. She breaks it down really well. Um, Also, got to remember today it might be over for Puff, but you don't want someone so powerful to have a vendetta against you because they can ruin your career very easily, and that is what happened to some people. They say in the testimonies, and that's why they came back. They said, I think it was two people that said I couldn't get a job anywhere else. He blacklisted me. I had nowhere else to go. Um, Shell says, yeah, so many people confused about the NDA saying why Cassie took the stand. I said, damn, y'all slow. Well, that's a good point. An NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, excuse me, is a document that says you can't talk about whatever we said. However, that doesn't matter when it comes to a federal trial. The federal subpoena demanding that you come to court and testify is more powerful and disregards that NDA. It seems that people don't really know this. So that was a good thing to bring up, Shells. Ted says, I heard that Farnsworth Bentley left because stuff was getting crazy. It seemed like he left at the right time because it's crazy right now. Shell said he sure did, had other people handling everything. Yeah. Dash says, I've been wondering about Farnsworth Bentley. Shell says, correct. Staff members on payroll. Yeah, everybody, listen, the people testifying that he did these things were staff members, stylists, personal assistants, makeup artists. Cassie was an artist and staff member, girlfriend, wife, whatever. Like it's, damn, there was 3 assistants. Yeah, 3 assistants. There's another staff member too, I feel like. The point is they're staff members, right? They're staff members. And again, think about the email for extorting Cassie's mom, sent from a bad boy staff member with wire information to a bad boy account. You can't do that. Kim says Farnsworth Bentley left before he committed any crimes. There isn't much you can do with an umbrella. It depends where Diddy wants you to put that umbrella. Just saying. Kim says Mia even said that she still has PTSD from working with Puff. Yeah. I mean, I would say a fair amount of them do. Going through something so traumatic, how could you just be okay? Shell says it's okay, Jay. LOL. This trial is draining. Yeah, listen. So I'm gonna wrap up. I just wanted to tell y'all, I think it's over for Puff. I think Puff will be committed very easily. I don't think it's going to take long for the jury to deliberate. I know the defense hasn't started yet, and the defense says they are going to do everything in their power to defend Puff, take all the time they are allotted to give him the trial he deserves. But I think the prosecution proved everything they needed to prove. They proved that he is using coercion against people. He's scaring people. He's attacking people. I don't understand what there is left to prove. I think the prosecution been proved their case. I think Puff is going to jail. I think the only question is for how long. I think that's really the only question today. Even if the defense does a great job, I don't know what you could do at this point. There's text messages, there's emails, there's pictures of Cassie's body all beat up. There's the video that we all saw. Kid Cudi's house and car. Like, there's so much evidence. I don't think that there's a way that they're gonna get out of this. I think Diddy's going to jail. I think the only question is for how long. Are they gonna give him time served? Is he gonna get life? Is he gonna get 10 years, 5 years? I don't know that answer, but I think at this point, Diddy's going to jail. I think it's over. Shell says I get bored with the trial. I tap in with Remy Ma and Pat beef. Nah, I'm not even addressing that one. That's not for me. Tez says, from what I heard, Farnsworth Bentley left, and rumor has it Diddy tried to slander his name, and there was some outlandish ish said about him. Yeah, I could believe that. Dash says, interesting. Kim says, they have enough people to start a class action suit against Puff. Oh, yeah. And there's still plenty of civil suits. Don't get it twisted. The civil suits are not all settled. There are other civil suits. Some of these people have civil suits. Some of these people already had civil suits that are not done yet. There's a lot of stuff going on with civil suits. People going to get paid. And some people said, I don't want any money. Like the makeup artist, she's done interviews on mad places. She says she did 8 interviews about what she witnessed. And she says she hasn't taken any money. She's not doing this for money. She's just trying to do what's right. Um, Diddy can consult with Lil Wayne about getting a pardon. I mean, I guess I don't really know what to say about that one. Dash says agree. I think he'll be convicted, but how he gets himself out of prison is the mystery right now. Yeah, it's too soon to know. It's too soon to know. But yeah, that's that. So I just wanted to try to make sure that we're on the same page. People understand what are the facts, what is fiction, what do the charges mean, because there's just so much hoopla in the public eye right now, in the public sphere, about what's going on with this trial. So just wanted to have a deep dive and talk about it. I cannot guarantee that we'll talk about this again. We'll see. Uh, Ted says unless he pulls a Ti, I don't know what you mean. Shell says correct. Makeup artist was in the documentary, so I'm assuming everyone that was in the documentary would eventually take the stand. I was thinking that too. Did they find witness number 3? No. There's a couple. There are 2 or 3 witnesses that the oh, Ti snitch got you. I don't think there's anyone. Diddy can't snitch on himself though. He would have to give up somebody who was doing crazier, nastier stuff, and even that may not matter at this point because this trial is way underway. So I don't think it matters. Yeah, the makeup artist did say that there are other people who were in multiple documentaries. I don't know. Kim said that the witness list is public, so y'all could go find it. I didn't look for it, but yeah. So there it is. Those are the charges. Those are the facts. That's my thoughts. This has been Weeknights. Thank y'all for being here. Ti's case is not over. They watched Adams for 12 years. I'm not really well versed on that one. I find that very interesting. Someone witnesses Gone in the Wind. Well, witness tampering is part of what they're saying Puff is capable of and has already done. Yeah. Dash said bye. Yeah, Dash know the vibes. It's time to go. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Weeknights Live. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. We'll be back right here live 7:30 on Monday evening, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday evening. I'll be right back here. I hope to see y'all there too. Enjoy your weekend. Adios. All right.